This is absolutely absurd because of who Jake Kumerow is. Who is he again? I mean, how many passes has he caught in his NFL career? But, on the other side, he was Aaron Rodgers' friend. He's a guy that Aaron Rodgers complimented. So you have to understand that. The truth is Aaron Rodgers should be involved in personnel decisions. He should be involved in some of the things that the team is going to do. His input should be valued because he's just a 3-time MVP. He's just a guy that has a Super Bowl a championship ring. He also is the face of your franchise. That's why you involve him in these types of things as far as the personnel decisions go. Here's the other thing. It's small things like this that keep your superstars happy. I'll never forget. We were in Philly, and the players had their player parking lot, and there was one spot near the door where you had to walk 5 feet to the door. All the other players had to walk, 50 yards away. And when T.O. came, guess whose spot that was? That was T.O.'s spot. And that was absolutely okay because that kept T.O. happy. It's small things like that that keep players happy, especially the super talented players happy. And you have to do those types of things if you're a coach, if you're a GM, if you're a franchise, to keep those guys happy. That's what you got to do. And at this point, whatever Aaron Rodgers wants, Aaron Rodgers should receive in Green Bay.
And again, it's not even whatever he wants. How about anything? Brian Gutekunst gets there. The very first thing he does is cuts Jordy Nelson. That ain't a great start to our relationship. Rodgers told him as much. His next major decision is trading up to draft Aaron Rodgers' replacement before Aaron Rodgers' contract extension has even kicked in. Months after drafting his replacement, you can't keep Jake Kumerow, who ended up signing for $580,000. You can't find the $600,000 as just something of an olive branch. And the idea that this is, oh my God, this is diva behavior. First of all, it's not. Second of all, who cares if it is? But ace pitchers in Major League Baseball very often have a personal catcher. That is a 25-man roster. One of the 25 is just because our star pitcher likes you, wants you, needs you. In the NBA, teams that don't even employ Giannis employ his brother at hopes of one day employing him. And his own team employs his other brother because they do employ him. Like, this is how things
They're good
work.
Players.
And so yes, I understand. And I'm not talking trash on Kostas or Thanasis, but come on. Giannis probably helps him. What evidence do we have, Wilds, that Brian Gutekunst isn't putting his finger in Aaron Rodgers' eye? What is the evidence we have that it's like, you know what, he's getting a bum rap here? Tell me.
Because they went 13-3 the last 2 years, and we're in the NFC Championship the last 2 years, and all I have to hear about is they're not doing well enough, they're not doing a good enough job. But Brandon, what do you want the guy to do? If you draft defensive players, you're not giving Aaron Rodgers enough weapons. If you draft offensive players, you're saying, oh, that's why Aaron Rodgers never had a top 5 defense. Like Tom Brady's had top 5 defense. And if you're trying to build the best team to win the Super Bowl, you're cutting his friend. If you keep his friend on the team, now you're playing favorites, and we need that spot. What if there's situational football and we need a defensive player or whoever took that spot? To me, it feels like the guy's in a lose-lose situation. There's nothing he can do right. And it all feels like a leverage play, which I think 2 years at $85 million will solve, and Jake Kumerow does not need to enter the narrative.
No, it's more than that. This guy, this general manager, Brian Gutekunst, wherever he came from, like, he think it's about him, and it's not. The reason why they went 13-3 and they've been a good team and a contender for so many years is because of Aaron Rodgers. That's it. No defense. Charles Woods is not walking back in that door. Al Harris is not walking in that door. It is Aaron Rodgers. What did I say yesterday? This is not a negotiation. This is a hostile takeover. So what happens when you're involved in a hostile takeover? You say, here is the list of my demands, and I want it all. So Brian Gutekunst. So if Jordy Nelson, right, what Nick talked about a couple years ago, if Aaron Rodgers said, that is my guy. That relationship between quarterback and wide receiver is special. Man, he should have had one more year, maybe even 2 more years, just off of the strength of their relationship and their connection. But you wanna release him, not good. And then you got what's his name, Jake Kumerow. I don't even know who Jake Kumerow is, but I'm with Nick here. They're in Appleton, Wisconsin. There's nothing. Brian, I don't know how many times you flew out there to play Green Bay, but there's nothing out there. So these guys, they probably get together and play cards on the Friday night. They might, watch a little Netflix. Okay. Let them have that moment. The quarterback, he needs that. These guys are just different. They're just different.
Guys, the defending Super Bowl champions this year, their head coach said, we are not in the Antonio Brown business. And then Tom Brady had take your roommate to work day, and AB shows up. He's like, hey, he lives with me, and he's on the team now, too. And they're like, all right, like, whatever. Like, I guess we're just going to figure out how to make it work. But, Brian, you own properties all over the world. One's in Maryland, right? Your giant horse palace in Maryland, I think that's right. All right, I'm sure you have a way that you always drive there. If your wonderful, amazing wife tells you on one trip, honey, I've got a better path. No one takes it. I promise, though, it's better, more beautiful, and faster. If she's right, she gets all the kudos in the world. If she's wrong and you end up in West Virginia, then it's not like if Google Maps directed you wrong. You're a little annoyed. You're a little angry. Brian Gutekunst said, guys, I'm going off the path. We've got an MVP caliber quarterback. He's 36 years old. I'm going to trade up preemptively for his replacement. If he's right, if last year instead of winning the MVP, Rodgers looks cooked, if Rodgers looked like Peyton the final year in Denver, and if Jordan Love looks like Mahomes his rookie season in Kansas City, where people can't stop talking about how good he looks in practice, then guess what? Brian Gutekunst has a job forever. He's probably executive of the year. But if he's wrong, there are repercussions. And I don't understand why folks, Brian, want to act like it can be all benefit when you take a massive swing. If you take a home run swing, sometimes you not only strike out, you lose control of the bat and it hits the third base coach. Like, that's a risk. And right now, this swing has ended up concussing a teammate. Brian Gutekunst has to own that. And the fact that after it happened, he couldn't even say, all right, well, Kumerow, you can stay, because that'll maybe solve things a little bit. I'm surprised people don't get it.
Nick, and your driving example, if my wife wants to go a different direction, that's the way we're going to go. That's going to keep her happy. That's the way that we're going to go, because she is Aaron Rodgers. She is the franchise player. She is the boss here. But let me ask you guys this, because I've just been thinking this for a long time. If you're a GM, you have a star player like Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, does that mean you can never draft a franchise quarterback? You can never look to the future? Aaron Rodgers was 36 years old. Does that mean we have to always be tied to you? Can we never move on? Because they did that with Brett Favre with Aaron Rodgers. Does that mean that we can never draft another guy, or we have to wait until you fall completely off for me to do it?
There's a way of doing it, right? All you got to do, these guys are sensitive. What you do is you say, look, here's the deal. Let's sit down and figure out what the next 3 years look like for you, 5 years, 10 years. We're trying to build this thing for the future after you. That's what a good organization does. A good organization makes sure they have pieces in place, so when the talent, that's there, when they leave, they step down, they're still rocking and rolling. Include them in the discussion.
That's what he's doing.
They didn't include Aaron Rodgers in the Jordan Love discussion. He didn't know that until
that's right.
They said the selection is in, the pick is in. That's the problem.
There it is. There's a courtesy at the very least. I would argue you don't trade up for the guy, but if he falls to you, maybe. But if you have decided to trade up for him and you know it's happening, Jenna, there is a courtesy you pay, which is to not have him learn it when Roger Goodell says it. That you at least are grown up enough to call him and say, I know you're not going to like this. It's what's best for the team. We love you. We wanted to give you a heads up.
It should happen weeks and months before, though, Nick.
But even if they don't know weeks and months before, they could have called him 5 minutes ahead of time. And they didn't. And I don't think he's over it, Jenna.
Right.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.